Hi guys, in this course I'm going to be showing you how to create a payroll calculator that looks something like this. And this is basically has all your staff, the rate of pay that they get, the number of hours they work, which shows you their core monthly wage, any overtime loss that they do, and what their additional payments would be, which will give you a grand total for the month. You can see it's got these cool filters to help you sort through large amounts of data if you've got a big staff database. You can see it tells you what your budget is, your total spending, and how much money you've got left over to spend in this month, and that breaks it down into number of hours for you, so you know you've got 17 hours left off for staff. It's also color coordinated, so if you spend more overtime on this person, so if I put 15 hours here, you can see it's gone red to show that you're nearly about to go over budget, so be careful. And if you have lots of sickness, say you've got 50 hours sickness, you can see it goes green to show you that you've got a lot of money left over to spend. Now, I hope you enjoy this course and that you use these skills that you learn to create a payroll calculator for yourself, which will hopefully help you and your business. Hi guys, so in this lesson I'm going to be showing you some of the basics to use Excel. Now over here you've got a worksheet, and to add another one you would click the plus icon. To delete this you would right click and click delete. Now to rename I would double click on it and type in what I want to call it, which is going to be January to June. Now each of these little boxes, they're called cells, and you can work out the cell reference by looking at the column letter and the row number, which are both highlighted. So this would be I10, and it's displayed in this top left hand corner over here. Now I can type in text, so that's meant to say hello, or numbers, or both text and numbers. I can highlight all the cells in the spreadsheet by pressing Ctrl and A, or by clicking this button over here, and I can make changes to the font size, the font style. I can make it in bold, italics, or underlined. I can also press Ctrl B for bold, I for italics, or U for underlined, and I can have all three on at once if I want. Over here I can create a colour for the background of the cell, which is yellow. I can choose any other colour from here, but notice that white is different to the no fill option, and that's because it gets rid of those lines on the outside. So I'm going to change this back to no fill so it looks like a normal cell. I can style the colour of this one to a light blue, or any of these other colours. I'm just going to delete all these by pressing delete. Or if I made a mistake, I can press Ctrl Z for undo, or Ctrl Y for redo, and it's the same with these arrows, undo, redo. I'm going to show you how to copy text. So if I press Ctrl and C, I can then paste this over here, and it will remain in the same place as it was before. I can use right click, copy, and right click and paste. If I wanted to move this from this cell to another cell, I would press Ctrl X, or right click and cut, and then I would paste it over here, and it removes it from its old location. I can resize the shape of the cells and the rows. If I was to insert a new row by right clicking and insert, it would copy the properties of the row above it, whereas if I did one down here, it would just be normal. But because this one was adjusted, the following one is also adjusted. If I was to colour this in yellow and I inserted a column, this would also be yellow. Now I'm just going to delete all of this. A quick way to get rid of all of this is to just select it all, right click and delete. Now over here is the function bar, and this displays exactly what you're typing out in your cell, but it's just a bit bigger and sometimes easier to work with. So to type out a function, you use the equals button, but first we need some numbers, so we're going to use 5 and 6. So if I was to type out equals here, I would use this cell reference, add this cell number, or cell reference equals 11, and that adds up those two numbers. And if I change this number to 7, it automatically calculates it. Now to do a subtraction, I would have to change this to the dash or minus sign, and that would give me the answer of 1. Now to multiply the two numbers, I would use the star sign. And for divide, if I double click into it, double click into the cell, I can also edit it. And for dividing, I would use the slash. Now if I wanted to merge two cells together, such as this and this, I would press this button here, merge, and it just makes the two cells into one, and it automatically puts the text in the center. And to unmerge it, I'd press the same button again. If I wanted to merge a large area like this and start typing, when I enter, you can see that I can put the text in the middle, top, bottom, left, or right, just wherever I want it to go really. The first thing we're going to do is rename the worksheet by double clicking and typing in Payroll Calculator. Payroll Calculator. Just spell that wrong. And I'm going to highlight every cell in the sheet by clicking this and making them all size 12. And now we'll start off with the headings. So we need to know their name, what their hourly wages or the rate of pay, how many hours a week they work, and then that will allow us to work out their current monthly wage. So if they turn up every day, every hour of the week that they're meant to, so if someone's meant to work 30 hours a week and they do 30 hours a week each week of the month, then we'll be able to work out what they should get paid. We also want to know how much overtime and lost time they have, so if they've been sick, any extra hours they've worked basically, and that will allow us to calculate the additional pay that they should receive, and that will give us a grand total for the month. So I'm going to highlight all of these cells. I'm going to make these size 14 and in bold, and I want the text to be centered. Now I'm just going to highlight these again, the cell columns. I'm highlighting the columns and I'm just going to make them all a little bit bigger so we've got a bit more room in them, just so it's easy to read. And with this one I'll just make that a little bit bigger because it's a lot of text in that cell. Over here I'm going to merge these cells and call this one the total. And depending on how many staff we have will depend on how big your table needs to be. So for us, we're going to have 11 staff, I think. So I'm just going to go all up to number 14 and create a bit of a table, a border around this. Pressing border. These cells will also be merged to give us a total at the bottom. Now the reason we've got two totals is if you had more staff and your total ended up down here, you could also see it at the top, which is why I put that in there. The other thing we need to know is our staff budget. So I'm going to merge them together and type in staff budget. I want this to be in bold, size 14, and I'll merge the cell below us. From that I'm going to leave a gap, merge these cells, and I want to know what our remaining spend will be. Remaining spend. Now we'll cover all this in future lessons, but for now I'm just setting it out, the table, the outline of the spreadsheet. Just need to make that a little bit bigger. And the other thing I would like to note is, in terms of hours, how many hours would that spend equal to? So if I type in remaining hours, and I'll just make this a little bit bigger. Have them both. There we go. Just makes it a little bit bigger. Merge this cell. And over here, I'm just going to create a mini box, which I'll explain in the next lesson, but it's just basically going to be our different rates of pay for different ages, basically. But that is how we start to set out our table, and then we'll look at filling the data and add a bit of style to it. To continue watching this tutorial for free, click on the link in the video description below, where you can carry on watching from video 4. When you sign up using this link, you'll get access to 2 months of Skillshare Premium for free, which will give you access to thousands more classes, so you can learn plenty of other skills on top of what you will learn in this class, which is how to create a payroll calculator in Excel to manage your staff costs.